Hi, Rehma. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad we're doing this. And I think in the past few months that we've been interacting on a business level, I've gotten to know you as a person as well. And I'm really glad that we connected. There's going to be a strong bond, I feel, which will stay longer as friendship as well, inshallah. So thank you for saying yes in just 1 minute or a snap when I asked you, would you come on my podcast and let's talk about Driven by Purpose and let's talk about your purpose. And yeah, thank you for coming on board.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you so much for giving me this platform, which I think I have still not been getting it from anywhere. And it's something I believe would spread a good impact, good self-awareness thing, because you need to start from somewhere. And why not with you? And thank you so much for considering me.
No, it's my pleasure. So I know a little bit about you, but I think there's a lot more that
Definitely.
that I don't. So why don't we start with who Rehma is and where she comes from? What makes her happy?
So my name is Rehma Mirza. I'm an Indian born and brought up in Saudi. Got married, went back to Riyadh. I'm blessed with 3 girls, alhamdulillah. A very supportive husband. I've always been into creative work. Let it be painting, fabric painting, pottery painting, poetry writing. As a matter of fact, I started calligraphy as well. But with my journey, I lost the touch. Got married, kids, additional responsibilities, as we all women do. We don't look after ourselves and we lose the touch of who we really are. I have been into multiple things. I did my PG, MBA in HR, then sports nutritionist. Then I got qualified with an TRX trainer. But then eventually I landed up being a sustainable style consultant. And it's something which relates very personally to me through the journey I went through anxiety, depression, because I was always told that you're dark-skinned. But there is skin tone shaming a lot from where I come. And this have always put me in a zone where I never considered myself, and styling was never, ever in my zone. Because I was said very hard words, like you cannot take your life to a point, you're not confident, you don't look good. And styling is something which doesn't go well with you. So I was always told to wear pale colors, and it's subconsciously fixed in my mind. And it did affect me. I isolated myself, and there were patterns. Like at some point, at some phase, I was like quite energetic, and then there came a downfall where I completely isolated myself. I made sure that I don't go anywhere. And whenever I got an invite, I made sure that I made a number of excuses. Because I get anxiety, I get goosebumps. I'm not able to speak. And among the room...
You're speaking now?
Yeah, because something helped me a lot.
Okay.
And this journey continued. I have a support system, but his voice was dimming away from the other voices which I was listening. And then back in 22, when we shifted to Dubai, I was in deep depression to a point where I thought like this is the end of my existence, and I am blessed with kids. I have to look after them. And that was a turning point where I was gifted a makeover by my husband.
Oh.
It was like, why don't you have a makeover? And I was reluctant because I never believed in all these things. I never believed that I can look good. And I never believed that somebody would ever compliment me. I had a makeover, and that gave me a boost. Apart from my therapies going on, I was like, I need to try this thing. But because there was that Rehma who always loved creativity. I cannot do anything plain. I need something in that. So I opted for the course. I did my certification, and then I got a halt. I was like, okay, I did it. I did for myself, but I cannot work out. I cannot do anything for others. But in that journey, I was complimented by many unknown people. Like, we like the way you dress. And especially I struggled with hijabs. Women who wear hijabs, they do struggle with that. And I start experimenting with hijabs, and people really loved it. And that gave me that boost. That gave me that kick. Then eventually I was like, why don't I spread this self-awareness for the women, especially who are underconfident or who are in a transitional stage. And my take towards sustainability is always at the highest level.
So I wanna go back a bit on where this all started, your journey of entrepreneurship started. it seems like it started from a personal story and a personal challenge.
Yeah.
And I see that very, very common. Most of the stories that are within the ItsHerWay community.
Yeah, it is.
And there is something that's common there, and we were just speaking about it before, right? I want to know a little bit more on what that story is, because in every story there is that challenge, there is the real problem, there is the solution, and there is the hero.
Yeah.
So you are the hero of your story. And what was that challenge you dealt with, and how did you deal with it?
Challenges were like not being comfortable in the way you are, because we try to fill ourselves and fit ourselves in molds. We want to look perfect. We are not satisfied with our own body shapes. We are not satisfied with our own skin tone.
And that's what you were.
Yeah, because I was told and I started living that. I made it center of my life.
So if I may ask, you were told by people you trusted?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is where you just did not know what to actually think or know about yourself. You trusted them.
I was nurtured in that way, that I was compelled to believe it. When you are surrounded by these voices, you tend to fall into that. And one voice was telling me that, yes, you can do well, you are doing well, you look beautiful. But I always overheard that. I skipped that voice. But now I believe my challenges, my journey, I see this among all ladies around me. 98% of ladies I have met, they have some sort of same resemblance with my journey. It could be their hijab style. I did struggle with my hijab styling. I never knew how to style myself. And I got clients who said that because of our hijab styling, people don't take us seriously.
Oh, really?
So I did a workshop last month for hijab styling, Veil and Vision. And the amount of feedback I got, only like 1 hour of workshop, and ladies did message me saying that my kids look up to me, that I'm trying something new. I look myself in a new way. But yes, and I made sure to change the perspective. Like hijab is our crown.
Yeah. So on this note, I think there's a underlying element of self-image that I'm hearing. How did your story in your own self-image improve or change or transform? What was that thing? You mentioned before that your husband gifted you a makeover.
Yeah.
Why did that happen, and when did that happen, and how did that? Actually, it was probably the gateway to a new world for you, wasn't it?
We have been married for 16 years, and he's a person into styling. He loves all these things. And he saw me. We loved each other for the person we were, for the souls we were. But when we start staying together, he saw me not dressing up myself in a way he wanted or others wanted, because I have not seen that world. And he was very slowly, he never pushed me. He was very slowly helping me out. And there was a stage in my life where because of this subconscious feeding in my mind that I don't look good, my marriage came to a stake. And it was at that point where I think he thought that we have shifted the country. And when I came over here, I saw the ladies, I was like, wow. And I have girls, alhamdulillah. And even if I would have had a boy, I would have said the same thing.
You have to be a role model for him.
They need to look at me. If I'm underconfident, if I don't know how to style myself, if I'm struggling with my hijab, what my daughters would take away from that? Either they would be like me or they would learn it from somebody else, but it would be a hard journey for them. And I don't want to give them that.
It would be a state of confusion also.
Yeah.
A lot
and
of it.
Apart from that, I don't want to give this to anybody around me or anybody I get in contact. So that was a changing point where I saw how my confidence got lifted up when I styled myself in certain way. Because I keep changing my hijab styles. I keep changing according to the places I go, where I want to create an impact, where I want to struggle with my anxiety. I style myself in a certain way. So, yeah.
When you want to struggle with your anxiety, when you actually want to feel anxious, you style it in a
No,
different way.
to fight against it.
Okay.
Yeah, because as if now I have come with some thought process, like how do I want to look?
How do you want to be?
What sort of image I want to put in? Wherever you go, you are judged. We all speak about that to 7 seconds, but it's like in a snap, people judge you.
Even less than that sometimes, right? Yeah. They just scan you and khalas.
And why don't you make that impact meaningful? It's not to impress anybody. Why don't you impress yourself first? Why doesn't that self-validation point stays with you forever? Why do you want to get validation from others? I was like that. I wanted validation from others. Now my validation comes from myself.
So this is where, I ask or I wonder, if I put it hypothetically to you, Rehma, today this is a business venture where you're actually earning money from styling. What if it wasn't? What if you were not earning money? how would it be different for you? Would you still continue doing this and imparting the knowledge?
Of course, I have been doing, and I'm still doing many things for free.
You're doing this pro bono, right?
Yeah, pro bono, to spread self-awareness. Because I got self-awareness, that's why I left behind all my anxieties, all my depression, and I have that strength to fight against them because I know who I am. I know the real Rehma Mirza.
That's exactly why you're sitting here with me, because I know your business, and I can tell, obviously, because we've had multiple interactions now, that your business is actually a purpose-driven business. Whether it makes money or not is secondary for you. Obviously, everyone wants to make money, and alhamdulillah, you will be making money because there is that. But I really feel proud to see and acknowledge that it's a purpose-driven business. It's not value. It's not profit.
No. For me, profit and loss comes when I see my clients fall back or they are lifting themselves up. Yes, we need financials for sure. But I believe when you stand for your brand and people look up to you, they will vouch on you. And organic growth, organic connection is the best. You're not in a competition with anybody.
Yeah.
I know it's very easy to say, but difficult because you see this fast moving things around you, somebody getting some offers and you get tempted, like she's doing something, why not me?
So in this, I think one of the things is that this business or being a stylist, there's a perception of a stylist is only required for a celebrity, right? Not for a normal Jane or not for a normal person. What do you have to say about that, and how does that impact your life? Because you actually want to not really. I don't think it's about helping celebrities or influencers. It's actually helping normal people.
My niche target are the ladies going back to work, all ladies who are like 24/7 working mommies at home, and they want to feel confident.
How do you penetrate your communication to them? Because it's again, right? It's not something they would want to think about as, I need this.
First, we connect organically, getting to know them. It's not always service. It's always getting connections because connections last forever. I talk to them, and if they show a bit of interest, then I'm like, why don't you just fill a form? And I get to know them through that form. And it's very easy for them to write it down rather than to speak about their difficulties and challenges face to face. By the time I get that form, I know them, half of them. And then we dive into what do you need? What challenges you're facing? And I always keep myself as an example because I want them to get connected with me. And my niche is to just help these ladies because I know when you help these ladies, you'll see them up over there. Why don't you uplift them? Why don't you inspire them? And many a times they don't take my services, but it registers them in their mind. Like, okay. And they come back to me after 6 months, 8 months, just to take one service, like briefly. And in that one service, I make that impact. I give them self-awareness. I don't think about how much she's paying me or I'm giving over. I make that impact and then they get hooked with me, for sure.
And what does that do for you?
Gives me peace. I see my reflection in everyone around me. I see my story in every person around me. Be it a male also. I have very few male clients. I see everything around everyone. I relate to them because my process is self-awareness, healing and grounding. It's not one shot. You get a service and you look glamorous. No.
There is so much noise around self-awareness, even in the mental health space. And there is so many things that we're now consuming passively when it comes to services like coaching, personal wellness, well-being, and everything around mental health. Yeah. This also comes into the space where mental health is because you want to feel confident and your self-image and your self-awareness, your self-doubt comes from the way you're perceiving yourself.
Yes,
right?
For sure.
But at the end of the day, most women, the kind of target audience you're talking about, or the kind of women you want to impact and help, are women who don't have the luxury of a lot of funds. Yeah. So without breaking the bank, what would your advice be to them? Just generically, maybe they're not up to the mark for their styling and they're doing it entirely wrong, let's say.
Yeah.
What would your food for thought be for them?
I have many ladies who say that we cannot fund ourselves. The only thing I tell them is that trust yourself. Try to learn about yourself. Don't try to run behind trends. Because styling is not luxury. It's self-investment. And you will invest one time and the fruit you'll get is throughout your life. And that fruit will be, and that positivity would be spread across you, across people around you. First, your kids. It would be you, then it spreads across your kids. Because now my kids, when they look up to me, they're like, Mama, should we wear this? You look so nice. My 4-year-old says that, Mama, you're going for work? You look so nice. You look so pretty. Self-acknowledgement. Yesterday, I had only 20 minutes of a session with a lady, and it was a pro bono. And I just asked her, what did you learn? And she gave me such a beautiful feedback. She said that I need to accept the way I am.
And I is the central of it, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of us actually look outwards for validation.
Yes, that's what I said. You should be the center point. You should be your point of self-validation, not somebody else. Don't rely on others. Maybe there are like people who would compliment you every day, but that one day when they don't compliment you, your mind gets stuck towards that because we gravitate towards negativity.
Yeah.
And when you get the self-awareness, it helps your mental health in such a way I cannot describe in what all ways, because you get more confident, you are more productive, and you're more happy, and that your happiness matters the most. I'm happy the way I am. I know how to style myself. And using your own wardrobe, you don't need to go buy. Look at your wardrobe. It does talk to you something.
That's good. So you've built a brand in a very competitive space also. You're competing with the stylists of the world.
Yeah.
But you're competing in a different target space. Are there any particular stylists that you look up to and their strategy or styling concepts or the way they methodology, let's say?
I look up to brands because each one of us have our own personal style. And I believe when you keep on watching someone, you tend to copy. And I say this to all my ladies out there. You have your own style. Rediscover it. The way I did it. When I can do it, you can do it. But I follow brands. All sustainable brands are always on my watch list. I do listen to lots of podcasts dealing with styling because I want to be updated.
Okay. And what would if I have to ask you one line and one statement about your association with ItsHerWay, how has it been and how has it helped you in your business journey?
ItsHerWay came to me in my life where I was just starting up. I had no idea what should I be doing. Like, how do I get a platform that can speak out my words, give me more visibility? And I met you, I got on board. And that was a platform where I started to get a bit more confident because I was attending the networks, meeting new ladies. And you gave me the opportunity to do a small workshop for PH7. That was a point where I was really doubtful about that, whether can I speak in front of people.
You did so well that
and
day.
It was in the month of December. Yeah, the season was off now, holidays were starting, and at that point I was like dipping down, like I'm not getting anything, what should I do? And you came in and you said that, why don't you do it? And I got so much of good compliments over there. There were ladies like, wow, you look good, the way you styled yourself, the way you spoke. We never knew about undertones, how it impacts. We never knew like we can mix and match in this way. It was a very small workshop, but it left a mark over there. And now it is, again, it's a way that I'm able to spread my words, spread my vision. And I'm definitely sure that it will help me out in all the ways possible. And I have you who does resonate with women who want to get heard, get seen, come out with their own stories very organically. Because people like me, they stay away from anything that is too flashy, that it's too fast. We want something very grounding. And you came up to that.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much.
So towards the end of the session, we usually ask you like a sort of a rapid fire or a flash few questions, and you just have to answer with 1 or 2 words. Should we start? What does Rehma want to be defined as in 1 word?
Grounded person.
Okay. And your style icon?
Rehma Mirza herself.
Great. 1 wardrobe style staple every woman should own?
Have your neutrals on point.
And 1 style trend you love currently?
I don't follow trends. I make trends.
And then, okay, so if you don't follow, you make, that's great. 1 trend that's going on that you want to retire? Which is the 1 trend that you hate that you just want to say, no, please, this is not there. This shouldn't be there.
Look, quick changes of looks, like it doesn't even resonate with yourself, but still you're pushing into that. I don't relate to that.
And what does a day in Rehma's life look like?
Always looking out for new ways how I can connect, researching, making my post very meaningful, organic.
What is Rehma's happy place?
My work.
And what gives her the most pride?
That I've come a long way now. And I have still a long journey to go. The pride that I'm able to speak. The pride that maybe I'm becoming someone else's voice. Some unheard stories I'm able to amplify through me. That's my pride.
And what is Rehma's favorite song?
I don't listen to songs.
You don't listen to songs? Okay. Any quote?
In the end, it's a journey to you through you, where every woman shines and every style speaks.
Lovely, lovely. Last one. What is your last will and testament? If today was your last day, what would you want to leave behind?
Trust yourself. Be resilient. Be clear. Have your boundaries very strong. And every day, touch one's soul.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.